Hello, this is Carl Gallups of Freedom Friday with Carl Gallups. What you will hear in the next few moments is a 2-minute clip of investigator Mike Zullo, the lead investigator with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office cold case posse investigation of the Obama fraud case. You'll hear Mike Zullo talking to a man named Dennis Montgomery. Montgomery has now been officially revealed and identified in federal court proceeding transcripts to be a CIA contract worker that initiated contact with Sheriff Joe Arpaio and Mike Zullo some time back in connection with a potentially huge whistleblowing operation involving information harvesting and institutional records harvesting on U.S. citizens and companies and financial institutions by the U.S. government. Montgomery represented himself as someone who had developed, built, and operated government information harvesting software. The clip that you will hear was played in federal court in November 2015 in the Melendrez case. That case was supposed to be focused on the accusations against the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office allegedly being involved in illegal profiling operations in Maricopa County, Arizona. However, the following clip was being played in court because the ACLU, one of the plaintiffs in the case, was attempting to prove that Arpaio and Zullo had been involved in a personal information gathering operation against the federal court judge who was hearing the Melendrez case, Judge Snow. In the clip, you will hear Mike Zullo ask Dennis Montgomery, "What could you do with this information that you have? How could you use it to destroy someone?" Of course, asking questions like this are what investigators do. At the point that you hear Zullo speaking with Montgomery, it is important to remember a few facts. First of all, this recording was made within the first 3 days that the sheriff's office had even met Dennis Montgomery. Then, you need to remember that Zullo and the other investigators with the sheriff's office were first being introduced to the vast amounts of data that Montgomery claimed he had as evidence against the government. None of this information was known to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office prior to meeting Montgomery. And in the clip, Zullo is in the process of formulating a relationship with a confidential informant who already has had his credibility questioned. So at this point, Montgomery is still an absolute unknown to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and particularly to investigator Zullo. Now, the question that Zullo asked Montgomery was for a number of legitimate investigative reasons. The question was designed to have Montgomery articulate what exactly could be done with the type of information he claimed to have to damage people, as well as to attempt to determine Montgomery's actual technologically destructive attack capabilities. The questions were planned to be used to build a probable cause to investigate Montgomery and his information even further. Dennis Montgomery told the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office that he possessed identities of 151,000 people in Maricopa County alone. And then he claimed to have had almost 500,000 identities harvested in the state of Arizona. All of this information, he said, was collected at the hands of a clandestine government data mining operation. Listen closely to Montgomery's answer to Zullo's question. Not only does he tell investigator Zullo what could be done to destroy someone's reputation by surreptitiously uploading illegal pornographic material, for example, to one's computer, but also he claimed to have the ability to embed pornographic links into the unsuspecting individual's computer that would give law enforcement fictitious digital forensic information, and then that could be used as evidence for the federal authorities to then prove the criminal intent that would be necessary to then search for and obtain any and all so-called illegal content on that person's computer. Then Montgomery goes on to say what he can do to destroy someone financially, including wiping out a person's bank account. In addition, Montgomery makes the astonishing claim that while working for the federal government, he breached several major U.S. financial institutions. Now, if all of this is true, then vast amounts of financial identities have now been compromised and stolen from U.S. citizens by their own government illegally. Zullo's question to Montgomery reveals not only the acquisition of the information, but the possible intention to collect this information to be used to destroy people. It also points to the capability of someone like Montgomery who would be in possession of this information. Capabilities like blackmail, extortion, financial ruin, the loss of occupation, or the ability to declare someone in the military or the court system, for example, unfit for public service. The list of potential personal destruction and governmental hijacking goes on and on. So now, listen to this brief clip.
I want to ask you a question before we go any further. I'm a government. You know what? Through harvesting to protect the country, yada, 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 we inadvertently collected blah, 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 blah. It's innocuous information. Nothing can really be done with it.
Yeah. Social security number, credit card numbers? Credit card numbers?
What else could be done with this information? What could you do if you wanted to destroy the life of somebody with this information?
I'd go into their email accounts and I'd start uploading emails. I'd send pedophile picture links into their email accounts of pedophile kids. I'd say this guy's a pedophile. I would create a linked list. I'd upload into his email account all that. Then I'd download his email and say, look at all the websites this guy's been to. He's been to pedophile accounts.
How could you financially destroy somebody with this?
Oh, it's easy. I'd just go into his bank account, I'd go to the IRS. I'd take the information out. Let's say because I went into J. Edwards, Morgan Stanley. I go into his account, take all the information, send it over to the IRS, let him have it. Oh, really? He only claimed $87,000 this year. Well, here's all of his bank account records. Oh, by the way, they're offshore. I don't know if you knew that. There's an endless way I can do it.
Right.
There's so much data here. There's no way to protect yourself.
When you're doing this with Fox, you've got to try to convey that because the public doesn't understand.
I've already said it twice.
Okay.
And I've said it on the record.
Okay.
And what I've said on the record is, it isn't innocuous information. The problem is, who has this?
That's right.
The guy walks out of the building, that's somebody's buddy, and he's over there charging bank accounts or going into people's email accounts because he's got the passwords to them. That's why people are told to change your passwords all the time and all that. I mean, it goes on. I mean, what does the government say? We weren't document harvesting? I just showed you a letter. You want your emails? They're on there. I'll start dumping emails to you. You know, it's without limit.
Now that you've heard the clip, remember that the ACLU in the Melendres case hearing tried to take Zullo's question to Montgomery and then alleged that Zullo was asking that question for a criminal purpose to subvert a federal judge. But remember, the identity of the judge was still unknown to Zullo at this time, as the court transcripts clearly and officially indicate. Also remember, it certainly appears that no one would have known about Dennis Montgomery today and the depth and darkness of the Arpaio-Zullo investigation, potentially with direct ties to federal government information harvesting on U.S. citizens, had a federal judge and the ACLU not tried to turn this case into something it was not. Sometimes God has a way of taking what others meant as evil and turning it to good and to the advantage of truth. Now that the dirty truth is getting out to the public via official federal court testimony and transcripts, you have to ask yourself, where is the mainstream media now? Where is your congressman now? Neither can no longer say that they didn't know. No longer can this be characterized as a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory conducted by a handful of zealots. In fact, it seems the only conspiracy theory thus far actually proven in court was the one that the ACLU and the court itself had against Arpaio and Zullo. As I've said before, this is just the tip of the iceberg of the possible universe-shattering information that is still to be revealed. And you got to ask yourself, do they have your financial information? Do they have access to your bank accounts and to your computer and to your email and to your digital tracks? Stay tuned to the PNN Network and Freedom Friday with Carl Gallups as more information and revelations develop in the ongoing Obama fraud case saga.